The story begins in Atlanta City, where we see Jackson, who wakes up in the morning and starts getting ready to go to work. But just then, he gets a call from Ree, who is his friend. Ree tells him, there is a small task you need to do. There's a man named Mayres, and you have to teach him a lesson. This contract was given by his mother-in-law. Then Jackson quickly gets ready and goes to the location his friend gave him, where Mayres is working out in a gym. Jackson casually helps him for a moment, but then Mayres asks him, "You look new. I haven't seen you here before." So Jackson directly replies, "I came here for something important. You should not have raised your hand on your wife, Lisa." Mayres gets angry after hearing this and asks Jackson, "Who are you, a cop or a lawyer? And you can't just come into the gym and talk to me like this." Then both of them get into a fight, but Jackson, using his martial arts skills, quickly defends himself. And before leaving, he says one last thing: men like you have no right to raise a hand on any woman. He warns that if Mayres tries to touch Lisa again, the consequences will be bad. After saying this, Jackson leaves the place. In the next scene, we see Jiari, a talented singer, who is doing a rehearsal on stage. Her boss interrupts her and says, "Your singing style has become weak, and these days, you're not even focusing properly on your singing." Hearing this, Jiari gets upset and walks off the stage. When she sits in her car, she notices that instead of the usual driver, there's a new man sitting inside the car, Roger. Jiari feels shocked, and then Roger takes her with him from there. On the other side, Jackson is now working in a nightclub as a security manager. When he finds out that some people inside the club are using drugs in the restroom, Jackson quickly goes into the washroom and starts warning them and tries to kick them out. But one guy resists, and a fight starts between them. Then Jackson calls another security guard and handles the situation. After that, Jackson meets his friend Ree, who gives him the payment for teaching Mayres a lesson. But Jackson returns some money to Ree and says, "Give this money back to that woman. You should be ashamed of taking so much money from a woman." While the two of them are still talking, Jackson sees Gina on the CCTV camera. Seeing her makes him smile. He quickly goes outside and walks toward her. Gina also feels happy when she sees him. Then Jackson starts talking to her and says, "After leaving the police department, now I'm working here as head of security." They both talk for a while and share many things. The next day, Jackson is woken up by the sound of the doorbell. When he opens the door, a delivery boy gives him a mysterious box. As soon as Jackson opens the box, a man from behind points a gun at him and says, "Quietly come with me. Holland wants to talk to you." But Jackson is trained. He quickly moves and snatches the gun from the man and beats up both attackers. That same afternoon, Jackson takes the box and goes straight to Holland's office. He angrily says, "What game is this?" Holland calmly replies, "I need your help. There's a task. If you do it, you'll earn good money." Then Jackson asks, "What task?" Holland says, "Find Jiari. She's one of the best singers, but she suddenly went missing a few days ago." Jackson says, "You should ask the police for help, not me." But Holland replies, "There's no use in involving the police. I want to keep them out of this matter. That's why I called you." Then Holland calls his secretary, who brings $2,000 in cash. But Jackson says, "I'll do this job for $50,000, $25,000 now, and $25,000 after the job is done." Holland smiles and immediately agrees to the deal. He gives him all the money, and Jackson leaves to search for Jiari. But before leaving the office, Jackson asks the secretary, "If you find out anything about Jiari, make sure to inform me." He also gives her some money, then walks away. Then he goes straight to his friend Ree and shares the whole situation. Ree tells him that Jiari has a boyfriend named Money, who is also the owner of a popular club. So Jackson quickly heads to that club to get information from her boyfriend. When he reaches the club, he meets Money and tells him everything about the situation. Money says, "I'm also worried about her, and I will help you." Then both of them go to Jiari's house. But when they reach there, both are shocked because the condition inside the house is very bad. Things are scattered everywhere, and Jiari is not there. Seeing this, her boyfriend becomes very distressed. Then Jackson says to him, "Give me 1 week. I'll find her. That's my job." The next day, Jackson goes to a party where he meets Holland again. Holland says, "You still haven't found Jiari?" Then Jackson replies, "I found a business card in her apartment. That's why I came here. Maybe that card can give me a clue." Then Holland walks away to the other side. Jackson goes to Holland's secretary, Lonnie, and asks her, "Who is the woman Holland is talking to?" Lonnie tells him, "She is Yoon Song, a powerful investor who has invested in Holland's business. She is very rich and influential." Then Jackson goes to Yoon and asks her about Jiari, but Yoon doesn't give a straight answer. Her bodyguards step in and start arguing with Jackson. Seeing this, Yoon gives a signal to her guards and they all leave the place. Then Gina comes back to Jackson and asks him, "What's going on?" But Jackson doesn't understand anything and asks, "What is all this?" Then Gina says, "Do you even realize this is the biggest event of my life that I've ever witnessed?" So Jackson says, "Sorry. If I'm disturbing you because of all this, I'll leave." But Gina stops him and says, I didn't mean it like that. Then both of them leave together. The next morning, when both of them step out of their apartment, suddenly two men on a motorbike start shooting at them. Jackson tries to catch them and kicks one man down. But before he can reach the one on the bike, the man fires at him, so Jackson moves back, and the man takes his injured friend with him and escapes. In this incident, Gina gets shot, so Jackson quickly takes her to the hospital. At the hospital, the police arrive and start questioning Jackson, and he tells them the whole story. After that, Jackson calls Money and asks him for help to protect Gina so he can take care of the rest. Money agrees, saying he will look after Gina. Then Jackson picks up his gun and goes to an underground biker club where some bikers are partying. He asks them about the helmet-wearing attacker. The bikers don't cooperate and decide to fight Jackson, but Jackson quickly defeats them. The rest of the bikers get scared and refuse to fight. Then Jackson gives them 3 seconds and says, "Tell me the name, or you'll be killed too." The first guy stays silent in fear, so Jackson shoots him. And when Jackson points a gun at the second man, the man says nervously, "I don't know anything." But just then, the third guy says, "His name is Bruce Lee." Jackson shoots him too, thinking he might be lying. Then the fourth guy says, "Yes, his name really was Bruce Lee, and Holland hired him." Hearing this, Jackson is shocked. He tells the bikers, "These bullets weren't real. They were just to scare you." Then Jackson goes straight to Holland's office, where Holland is in a meeting. Jackson points a gun at Holland and angrily asks him, "Tell me everything honestly. Why are you trying to get me killed?" Holland, scared, says, "I took a big loan from Yun Song. When I couldn't pay it back, she had Jiari kidnapped, and she's also the one who sent hitmen to kill you. You know I'm a businessman." Then Jackson says, "This isn't business. This is a dirty game, and it's going to end badly." On the other side, Money, who is taking care of Gina, is playing cards with her. Then Jackson arrives there and thanks Money for taking care of Gina. After that, Jackson meets Gina and asks how she is doing. Gina tells him that she is feeling better than before now. Then Jackson and Money go to the parking lot, where Jackson says, "I found out where Jiari is. Just bring a car, and the two of us will go and rescue her." But right then, Money shows him the car he already brought, which surprises Jackson. Then both of them leave toward the location. On the other side, Yun Song's bodyguards bring Holland to her. Yun tortures him and asks, "What did you tell Jackson?" Holland says, "I didn't tell him anything. He'll never reach Jiari." But Yun Song doesn't believe him and says, "I want my money back. You have only 48 hours? Then she has her guards throw Holland on the side of the road, and they leave from there. Meanwhile, Jackson and Money reach an abandoned building where Jiari is being kept. Then Jackson spots Jiari, who is being held captive in a room. A guard is standing near her, but just then, more guards arrive. Jackson says, "We'll go in from the front," but Money says, "No, we can go through the roof using wires. I have the equipment." Then Money quickly sets up the wire and both of them climb quietly up to the roof using it. After that, Jackson throws smoke into the building and gives an order to his friend Ree, telling him to come from the front and distract the guards for some time. The guards start to smell the smoke, but just then, Ree enters the building. The guards stop him at the entrance, and Ree says, "We got a report that there's a gas leak here, and we've come to evacuate the building." But one guard doesn't agree with him and says, "If you want to investigate, only one man can go inside. The rest have to stay out." Then Ree says, "Are you crazy? That way it will take 2 full hours. But if we all go in together and work fast, maybe we can finish in 10 minutes. Then the guard agrees and gives them permission to enter the building. On the other side, Jackson and Money quickly come down and reach the room where Jiari was being kept. But they don't find Jiari there, because she had already left with one of the guards toward the washroom. Meanwhile, Ree gets a signal that the gas leak is coming from the upper floor, so he decides to go upstairs, but the guard doesn't allow him to go up. Then Ree starts to call the head office, and out of fear, the guard tells him to wait for 5 minutes and then calls his companion, who is with Jiari. But before the guard can inform him that people are coming upstairs, Jiari takes advantage of the moment and hits the guard from behind, knocking him unconscious. But then she senses someone approaching, so she quickly hides on the other side. That someone turns out to be Jackson and Money, who don't see Jiari and instead go toward the unconscious guard. They think maybe Jiari attacked him and escaped from here, so they go to the other side to search for her. As soon as they go downstairs, one of Yun's guards catches Money and puts a gun to his head, about to shoot him. But at that same moment, Ree also arrives, though he can't do anything, and goes back to his task of locating the gas leak. He quickly strikes an axe into the wall and finally finds the gas source. Meanwhile, Money snatches the gun from the guard, but the guard also has a second gun, which ruins Money's plan. To distract the guard, Money tries to light a cigarette, but the guard kicks it away instantly. This makes Money angry, and he grabs the gun again, trying to shoot him. But Ree stops him, shouting that the entire building is filled with gas, and even a spark could cause an explosion. A hand-to-hand fight begins, and Jackson's team starts overpowering the guards violently. But during the fight, Ree slips and drops the same cigarette that Money had thrown earlier. It falls directly onto the gas leak and ignites a fire, which starts spreading upward toward the floor where Jiari is. Money tries to rush upstairs to save her, but the others hold him back. On the other side, Jackson finds Jiari, which becomes very happy. Then Jackson says her money is also here. You stay here, I will go bring them, so we can all get out of here safely. But as soon as Jackson goes downward, two guards arrive and catch Jackson, which starts a fight between them. Both guards quickly knock Jackson down and take his gun and shoot him in the head, but Jackson pretends that he is dead. On the other side, Money and Ree, along with all their friends, leave the buildings because of the gas and start going away from there. When Jackson regains consciousness, he thinks of calling the other friends, but unfortunately during the fight, his mobile had broken. So he gets up and goes to Jiari, and both of them start escaping from the window of the building using a rope so that they can run away before the building gets destroyed. On the other side, Jun Song gets ready to kill his bodyguards for not protecting Jiari. But then the guards say that they have a plan, so Jun cancels his plan to kill them. Then we see Jackson and Jiari go to the hospital, where Jackson is getting his wounds treated, and the doctor is no one else but Mayers, who has changed a lot after being beaten by Jackson in the fight. Then Money also comes there, and he becomes very happy to see that Jiari is safe and sound. And Jiari thanks Jackson, saying that he took such a big step for him. After some time, Money and Jackson go to meet Gina, but when they get there, they find out that Gina has already left. So Jackson, angry, goes downstairs and asks, "Do you know anything about the patient in room number 515? Where did they go?" He is told that she had already called for a car and left for Swerve City Records. Then Jackson and Money also head toward that place, and on the way, they call Swerve City Records, which is Holland's office. His secretary Lonnie answers the call, and Jackson tells him that he's calling from Gina's office and asks, "Is Gina there?" Just then, Gina also arrives at the building after getting out of her car. The secretary tells her, "Someone from your office just called." When Gina picks up the phone, Jackson tells her, "Don't go into Holland's room, get out of there quickly." But Gina doesn't understand and thinks someone is playing a prank on her because Jackson had changed his voice to avoid suspicion. Then Jackson says a secret word that only he and Gina know, and she finally realizes it's really him. But now it's already too late because Jun and his guards had already arrived, beaten up Holland, and taken control of the entire office. Gina tries to escape from the back exit, but when she gets there, she sees that way is also blocked. Then Jun Song orders his men to kill Gina and also says, "Don't spare the secretary either." But one of his men comes back and says, "Gina is nowhere to be found." So Jun replies, "Find her." On the other side, Jackson and Money also reach the building, but as soon as they break the parking lot door, the guards hear them coming. A fight breaks out between them. Jackson kills some guards and enters the building, while Money goes from the other side. Meanwhile, as Gina is going down the stairs, she hears a sound, so she starts going back up. At the same time, Jackson is still fighting the guards. He quickly kills them both and decides to go upstairs, but his gun runs out of ammo, so he goes up without a gun. There he sees Jun and his guards, who are about to push the secretary off a chair tied up near an edge. Jackson starts fighting with the guards, and though they try to overpower him, he quickly tackles both of them. But then Jun Song starts fighting Jackson herself, and there's a long fight between the two. In anger, Jun cuts the rope, causing the secretary to start falling down, but Jackson grabs her just in time and starts pulling her up. At that moment, Gina also reaches the rooftop and sprays water on Jun using a water pipe, which causes Jun to fall off the building and die. Jackson quickly unties the secretary, and they all run toward Holland, where Money is already waiting. Money says, "We have to get out of here quickly because the building is about to catch fire." So they all rush out of the building, help Holland into the car, and just as they leave, the building bursts into flame, and Holland's entire office burns down. Then Jackson says, "We should leave this place," but Money gives him the car keys and says, "You guys go ahead, we'll meet again soon." Then they say goodbye to each other and go their separate ways. And that's where the story ends. So friends, if you're new to my channel, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.